Hello Internet, I'm Dan.
I'm Chaz.
And welcome to Wine is Serious Business. This is episode 58. And we're here today to do some Austrian wines with our friend David Speer, Red Slate Wines. Our friend Constance Chamberlain was nice enough to send us some samples of Austrian wine to check out. She promotes the country of Austria as a whole. So is trying to get people in the United States interested in Austrian wine. How do you think the United States feels about Austrian wine right now?
I think they like it, but don't know much about it. No more than they did 10 years ago, for sure. It's come on, but it's still got a ways to go.
So it's a great place, you know, for her to be able to send some samples out to people who do blogs like us, for us to try and expose some of you guys to it. Hopefully encourage you to go out and try some Austrian wine. So first up today, we've got a bottle from Weingut Zahel. I'm going to mispronounce these four. Is your Austrian pronunciation any better? How would you say that?
Zahel.
Zahel, yeah, Weingut Zahel. These are all Grüner Veltliners. I think they're all they're all 2009s too.
All Grüners.
Yep. So new releases, and I think they're all entry level too. Correct me if you notice any of them that stand out to those other ones.
Is Grüner the #1 grape that Austria grows?
It is their #1 white grape. Blaufränkisch is their #1 red grape. But Grüner is definitely the big grape of Austria. Austria is about 70% white, 30 red.
Okay.
And Grüner followed by Riesling. Those are kind of the big ones. You'll see other stuff, but those are where it's at. If you're going for quality.
Nice.
Region-wise, what does it most align with? Is it Germany? As far as climate levels, or?
It's certainly a lot like Germany. I would say they tend to make more Alsatian style.
Okay.
Oh, interesting point. I'm just starting to dip my toes into Austrian Riesling, and I've been pretty excited with it. But they're all Grüner today. So. Getting like limes and like a little bit of like sticky leather on the nose too. Not overwhelming. Like the fruit, maybe a little white floral component.
You hit it with a lime.
Yep.
For sure. Reminds me of like squash lime rice. I'm about to stick it into my Corona. Minus the Corona, of course. But
yeah. And I was thinking with a lot of Grüners, it's lime, but it's kind of this sweet lime, like not like a candy lime almost, or whatever the
dried
lime equivalent of a Meyer lemon is. You know, that easier to eat kind of lime.
I eat that every once in a while. I'm squeezing them on like tacos or something like that, and I eat them like every once in a while. It's a little sweet. I'm like, that's really good.
Yeah, lots of nice minerality.
Citrus play again. Little, just a hint of sweetness in the fruit, and just a faint hint of bitterness again, much like the citrus fruit. You get a little bit of the peel on your teeth or something like that. Just a light touch to kind of add some structure to the experience.
Yeah, pretty full in the mouth. And the way the acidity kind of carries along with that fullness is really nice, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of limes and nectarines.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fruit's really nice, and it's even across the palate. It sticks around, for a good length of time. Dries slowly. Doesn't really dry fully, like the fruit definitely lingers.
Oh yeah.
But it's well balanced. Kind of straightforward. Nothing that really makes my eyes pop out of my head or anything like that. I'd go 87 points. Solid bottle of wine for me.
Yeah, super easy, super delicious to drink. 87 points as well. Good stuff. Yeah. Score wine? No?
I don't usually do points. I'm just like yay or nay, and this is something that I would serve to my friends who want something. When they say, I want something dry, but just a little sweet. Like, this is where it's at.
Right.
Some of the ladies would like this.
Does this have any residual sugar yet?
I'm going to guess there is a bit of residual on this. Not a ton. Like, I would not call this a sweet wine by any means.
Not at all.
Or even off dry. But there's a touch of residual that just kind of balances out the palate and keeps it from being kind of too sharp and abrasive.
Yeah, that's where some of the fullness is coming from too. Like,
it definitely is.
The length is considerable on it. It's good wine. Very good wine.
So this is Domane Wachau from Terrassen Federspiel.
I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, and you see it on the screen, so you'll know what it is.
Yeah.
Familiar with that one?
Yeah, Domane Wachau is a good producer. Wachau is a region. Federspiel is actually a classification level in Austrian wine, and it's kind of like saying it's about the equivalent roughly of Spätlese.
I had no idea.
Nice.
But in a dry style.
Yeah, in this sense, dry Spätlese.
Yeah, but it's definitely a designated quality.
The Federspiel. Okay.
I think it's actually pronounced Federspiel, but
Which makes sense.
I could be wrong.
My pronunciation
My
is
German
really bad
is
when it comes to European.
Americanize everything here.
I was just curious. Okay.
White floral notes again, I think. And this is definitely has a more round feel to the nose than the previous wine did.
This starts off almost with like a 7-Up component, like soda component.
Nice.
Too. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, minus the sugar, obviously, the corn syrup, but
And for me, this has some really characteristic Grüner notes as far as it's got some white pepper, white floral. It's got some of the lime.
white
tone,
floral definitely
but
sticks
it's not.
out.
It's not the sweet lime of the first one. It's kind of more lime pith or lime skin.
A little bit of like lemongrass too, right?
Yep, totally.
Like a little on the greener side of things.
This
There's
is
plenty of nice minerality.
This is a nice smelling wine.
Yeah.
This is enjoyable. And this is atypical like summer. Very fresh smelling wine.
Definitely a softer touch on the palate here. I'm even starting to think that this might not be an entry level
This
delivery because there's like a good richness of flavor. It's even across the palate. The acidity still plays really well. There's still that very faint touch of bitterness way in the back of the palate. Normally I'm kind of critical about that, but I think it's balanced well with the rest of the wine here.
Pairs well with the acidity.
Yeah.
The acidity carries the flavor along for quite a while.
Beautiful acid, lots of layers of flavor and complexity.
Yeah.
This is certainly a step up in quality. I think the first wine is definitely designed to get kind of entry level drinker, somebody like I said that wants just a touch of sweetness.
This is a catchy wine.
Into
it's a catchy wine.
Yeah, I think so. And it's not a knock on the first one. I think it's a delicious little quaffle. This wine, you're moving into something a little more serious.
Yeah. Delicious.
You get some good like rich fruits, like he said nectarine, and that kind of put the seed in my mind. But like a nectarine or like a peach, I'd say dominance to flavors, but it's not thick and syrupy like you get on a dessert wine, or even some normal still wines. It's balanced with the acidity very well. Again, that little bit of spice, that little bit of green note on the back really keeps things clean and fresh.
I would even go with a yellow plum. That's where I put this.
I think due to the bitterness on the finish, the complexity of this wine could almost be overlooked, but based on the fact that we're looking for it, I mean, I do see the layers of flavor that we're talking about. The acidity is, as it's going along and through the finish, the flavor is still there, and there's things happening. It's a really cool bottle of wine. What did you score it? Did we even score it?
No, I didn't bring this. Just
We're
just
just
you were on a roll. I didn't want to interrupt the
going
your roll.
I'm done. Roll. Slash roll.
Nice.
Tuck and roll.
Duck and cover. Sorry.
I would go. I'm gonna go 88 plus on. I'm gonna go 88 plus on that. I've been spoiled, and part of it is, of course, I'm super partial to Rieslings. So this being a similar style, that's what I'm kind of like basing my framework on, and I recognize that. If I were more familiar with Grüner, this could easily be higher, and because I'm not as familiar with the flavors, with what it's really capable of expressing. So I'm going to go 88 plus, but a solid wine for sure. Good stuff.
I like it a lot. 90 points.
Nice.
It has the layers of flavor. The acidity carries everything along for a long time. It's tough because there's a bitterness there that things could get lost, but I think if you're looking for sort of a geeky wine and something that's super dry and has a lot going on, this is that. And yeah, 90 points. It's got a lot going on.
I'd rank this on you'd find it on my dinner table. Which
Wow.
to me is a compliment. I think the first one you'd find at my backyard picnic. This one I'll actually
Pair with some food. Think
food,
about
have
it a
some
little
fun
bit.
with it. Exactly.
And another point I want to make: these are a little below room temperature, but they're not chilled at all. And I think this one in particular, you'd lose a lot if you drank this straight out of the fridge.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And another really
acid.
Yeah.
And not much else.
And a really good sign for how well made they are and how clean they are is that even at a little higher than typical temperature for white wine, they're showing very well.
Kick ass.
Get your rinse.
That was awesome. It was good wine.
Oh, okay. Well, there's your 4.
Okay.
did that to Chaz last week.
I was hammered at the Rusco show. I was hammered by
That
the
was
time
your
I got
goal. That was your goal.
And I drank like 7 beers while I was there.
Yep.
And Sophie.
You gonna pour me some wine or what?
Yeah, we're getting. He was reading the label. We'll give him a chance to finish the label.
Man.
And I got the announcement here.
Cool.
Chaz, you got somewhere to be? You got a date tonight, Chaz?
Got a date tonight.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
What's up, Tammy?
The Singing Grüner Veltliner from Laurenz and Sophie. So.
I hope Sophie is his small daughter or his dog, but
Who knows? Who knows?
Maybe his wife. But
Does Tammy watch these?
She's watched a couple. If I tell her to watch a show, she'll watch it.
Nice. Thanks, Tammy.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Constance, for sending us these. These are some solid wines too, which makes it a lot of fun.
So far, so good. Yeah.
did Constance give you the order lineup, or were we just?
Nope. This is just kind of. We put a little bit of thought into it.
Yeah.
Chaz, so we tasted through them before
Okay.
to make sure that we're not going to tear something apart that was sent to us as a sample. We try not to burn anybody down on camera.
Yeah.
That's been nice enough to share with us, and then we, put a little thought
Into the light. Yeah. So.
lighter nose for sure.
Lighter nose, but to me this has even more of that white pepper, both nose and palate, and that real kind of white, dry rock minerality.
I get that, and I'm getting like a little bit of like a little bit of anchovy, like just the crispy, salty fish, really faint. It's not a fishy nose at all, but there's just a touch of that there.
Yeah, just a little bit of that saline note.
And the limes again, limes all over the place.
But of the three of them, I think the lime in this one is the least pronounced.
I agree.
Yeah, the intensity level on those is pretty far down. At least from the last two, in my opinion.
Hops on the palate though.
Yeah, the acidity just kind of jumps up.
It'll wake you up. If you've been at a party for a while and you need something besides a Red Bull, something with this kind of acid, it's good stuff.
Good hangover cure?
No. Probably not. For hangovers, I prefer Pedialyte.
Over stew.
Yeah, you can mix in a little emergency, and if you're really hurting, a little shot of vodka.
Wow.
He's a professional. He's a professional.
That's what he does for a living.
I've done this once or twice.